This time, our line is no longer a vertical line just like the previous video, nor it's a horizontal line. We are given here with the line 3x minus y is equal to 6. We are to identify the image of our point x, which is identified as 0 and 1, in a glide reflection about the given line, then followed by a translation with a vector v, which is equal to 2 and 6. Okay, our vector v is at 2 and 6. Now, I made a declaration before when you talk about the glide reflection, is that the vector of translation for a certain point is just similar to our vector of the line. But if you're going to look into this one, it's actually just a scalar multiple. It follows the same concept. We know that when vectors are actually proportional in nature, they are actually parallel. So basically, even if they are not exactly the same, as long as they are proportional, and of course you will know later on that they are actually proportional, because we're going to get the normal vector of this. Okay, so we're going to connect into that later on. And then we can see that they are proportional, so we're still following the same idea that the translation of the reflection, the image of that using the vector 2 and 6 follows the or being parallel to the given line. Now, the formula, take it here, we are tasked to identify first the reflection, though it's not clearly stated. But basically, when we talk about light reflection, we start with the reflection and then the translation. So we're going to use the formula in this manner. We start with the reflection of x along line L, then get its translation using the given vector in the formula x minus twice x minus p, then your unit normal vector times unit normal vector plus your vector v, which should be operated in a sense of translation. Again, we will talk about that later. Okay, so we know our vector already here. We know our x. Our p is any point on our given line. We will be choosing one point in that line later. And our unit normal vector is connected to this aspect here. We will not be using this vector to get the unit normal vector. I'm going to use here the the vector, or the what do you call this one, the direction vector of our line here in terms of a normal vector, and illustrate that again as proportional with the intended translation vector. Now, for us to be able to see the actual formation here, let's try to plot this point and the line on our Cartesian plane. You may skip this if you would like to, but I'm actually doing this because I would like to see the actual form of our graph. So you have here 0 and 1. This is our x here. Our x is actually on the y-axis. So we're going to translate that, or first reflected that along line L, and then get its translation using the vector 2 and 6 to have the glide reflection. Now, for this, let's try to graph our line. So of course, when we graph the line, we simply need 2 points. So let's use the intercepts. Let y be equal to 0. This would be our equation. So you have your 3x minus 0 is 6. So 3x is 6. X is 2. So the x-intercept is at 2 and 0. Now for the y-intercept, let x be equal to 0. So again, this is the equation. You will have 0 minus y is equal to 6, negative y is 6, so y is equal to negative 6. So its y-intercept is 0 and negative 6. So we can see here in our Cartesian plane, our graph is at 2, it will pass through 2, 0, and 0 and 3, 4, 5, and negative 6. These are the 2 points. So if we're going to connect that with a line, hopefully I could connect them in just one attempt. Let's just assume that I did. This is now the line L. Okay, and given that this was our x earlier at 0 and 1, that was our x. We're going to solve for its glide reflection. So first, we're going to reflect that somewhere here, so you would know its location later on, and then translate that using the identified vector. Just by looking at this vector, we know that it's actually going up. Okay, its vector, when plotted as reference on the origin, is on the first quadrant. So probably we can see our glide reflection somewhere here. Okay, that's our prediction. So at least by the look at the graph, we are guided now, but the possibility of our answer, assuming that all of our assumptions are actually correct. Now, let's talk about the first phase now, the reflection process, which is actually the this portion before the plus of our item. So we know now our x. Now for our p, let's use the x-intercept to be consistent with what we did before. And our unit normal vector will be dependent on our normal vector. Again, let's refer our normal vector not here, but on our given equation. We know that our a here is 3, our b is -1, and that comprises actually our normal vector. It's a, which is 3, and b, which is, this is -1. Okay? That's our normal vector. Now, take note, if we're going to talk about, it's just for, I'm just going to insert this, from the normal vector to a direction vector, okay? It's actually negative. This would be our, if we're going to talk about the direction vector, it's actually v sub 1 and v sub 2, right? This is actually negative v sub 2, and this is our v sub 1. Just inserting this, you will get here -1 and -3, which is actually just a scalar multiple of our direction for our translation. This is what I mentioned. Since they are scalar multiple, if we're going to multiply here -2, so you will have here -1, -3. You will really get positive 2 and 6, similar to that. This indicates that the direction vector of this normal vector and the direction vector of our translation are proportional to one another. As mentioned, we would expect our answer still on the parallel portion, okay, direction of our line. So that's just an insert there. Let me remove that. Hopefully you were able to capture that, because our goal here is to get the unit normal vector. So our unit normal vector is the normal vector in parenthesis form over the length. The length of our vector is the square root of the sum of the squares. So 3 squared, -1 squared. You'll have your square root of 9 plus 1. So you have square root of 10. That is our length of our vector. Hence, our unit normal vector will have here something like this, or you can use here 3 over square root of 10 and -1 over square root of 10. So we now have our unit normal vector. Again, our p is the x-intercept of the line, and x is already given. So for the the reflection first, which is identified as x minus twice x minus p, unit normal vector under inner product, and times again the unit normal vector. So you will have here our x is actually identified as 0 and 1. Okay, 0, 1 minus twice 0, 1, and our p x-intercept is 2 and 0. By the way, you can even use here your y-intercept so that you will have 0 and -6, easier to be computed with that. But since I use the x-intercept, so allow me to continue, times your unit normal vector, 3 over square root of 10, -1 over square root of 10, inner product of that, times again your unit normal vector here. Okay, so you have 0 and 1 minus 2, then you will have here this, you will have -2, allow me to erase this, -2 and 1. Then you have 3 over square root of 10 and -1 over square root of 10. Then you also have here the same unit normal vector. Okay, 0 and 1. Take note that when you do the inner product here, the result would be a scalar quantity. It would be actually -2 times 3 is -6. Okay, so you will have here -6 over square root of 10 plus 1 times -1 is -1 square root of 10. That is actually expected to be a scalar quantity. Okay, that's square root of 10. Okay, this is actually 0 and 1. Hopefully the spaces here are enough. Minus 2 times -7 square root of 10. Then you will have here 3 over square root of 10 and -1 square root of 10. This would comprise the scalar quantity. So you have 0 and 1 minus 2 times -7 is -14. Let me again. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14 times 3. So negative 14 times 3 is actually negative 42. How about this one? The denominator will be rationalized. You will have here over 10. Sorry. Next, 2 times negative 7 is negative 14 times negative 1 is positive 14 over 10. Okay? Next here is simply to finalize the reflection. You have 0 plus 42 tenths and then 1 minus 14 tenths. Your reflection along the said line is identified as 42 over 10, and you will have here negative 4 over 10. Or simplifying that, you will have here divide by 2, 21 fifths, and negative 2 fifths. This is just the reflection of x. So if we're going to locate that, is 21 fifths is actually 4 and 1 fifth, right? Or 4.2. So 1, 2, 3, 4.2. And then you have negative 2 fifths. So at the bottom, somewhere here. Let me change the color to black, as this is the reflection. Just the reflection of our point x. But since we're tasked about the glide reflection, so we just need to add the final form here, the vector. Using the components of the translation by a vector, we know that a point in a vector cannot be added in terms of identifying a certain equation of a line. But since we're talking about here a translation, so to complete our task, the translation on a vector v of your reflection is actually just this one here, is just 21 fifths and negative 2 fifths plus your vector in parenthesis form 2 and 6. This patterns the idea that if we're talking about the translation of a vector, or translation of x along a certain vector, you're going to add the first component of your point plus the first component of your vector and the second components as well. So similar here, you will have here 2 and 6 as the components of your direction vector for translation. So we just simply add here 21 over 5 plus 2 and negative 2 fifths plus 6. This would result into the final form, which is actually the glide reflection. If we would like to continue doing that, you will get a result here that's 10, so 31 fifths. And for this case, 6, that's 30, so you will have here 28 fifths. This is the glide reflection of our point x. Okay, so let's try to locate that in our Cartesian plane and see if it's really a glide reflection. 31 fifths is actually 6.2, so that's 5 and 6, so something 0.2, and 28 fifths is actually, if I'm correct, 5 and 5.6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.6, so and a half, somewhere here. This is our glide reflection at a point, 31 fifths and 28 fifths, given the consideration. So basically, you can actually start with this one. You reflected that here, and then later on, you translated it using the vector 2 and 6. That's the location for our glide reflection. In this case, this example is no longer a vertical nor horizontal line. And yes, we can still get the glide reflection following this item. In the next item, which would be our last item, that's another situation where we would start with the translation before reflection. As discussed in the first video talking about glide reflection, we can simply interchange which would start first, reflection or translation and reflection. We will still get the same glide reflection. So we will have one example in that video where we start with a translation of a point using a given vector, then reflecting that along line L. Thank you very much for watching.